Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my video. So in this video, I'm going to summarize the research paper with the title "Suprasegmental and Grammatical Control over Telegraphic Speech in Young Children's." So before I start, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Iqbal Aditia, and my student registers number is 186111028. And without a further talking, let me start. A telegraphic language is defined as the retention of content words or grammatical structures and the absence of function words, which is used by young children whose sentences are relative short. According to Brown and Fraser in 1963, the suprasegmental elements, or used to be called as a stress, is commonly defined as changes in at least three acoustic parameters. Uh, First is fundamental pitch, intensity, and syllable duration, which is crucial for early syntactic development as it is a key perceptual signals that responsible for the telegraphic aspect of early child language. According to Brown and Fraser, content words in English are usually heavily stressed, while function words are typically unstressed and sometimes predictable from background. And by that, stress become a device for children to develop an imitation technique, while content words are selectively preserved. The Brown and the Fraser hypothesis has been tested many times. For example, the role of stress and word position as decoding cues in nonsense words sentences for children aged 20 to 39 months was investigated by Blaisdell and Johnson in 1970s. Excuse me. They found significant effects for both position and stress, with final position items and primary stressed items being imitated most frequently. However, since children understand in some sense linguistic elements, they create a task requiring the child to imitate purely meaningless material, does not replicate the child's original learning situation. In the other hand, schools in 1969 and Friedel in 1970s, they suggest that removing stress cues should increase the frequency of contentive and functor imitation. But the contrary happened. The contrary was happened. All it is against the result is against their theory. So even though the study doesn't support the Brown and Fraser hypothesis, grammatical errors grammatical error pattern lend to some credibility to the hypothesis that stress is significant determinant of telegraphic expression. As a child learns to add function words to their utterances, their telegraphic speech, which mainly consists of strings of context words, become more adult-like. The result of this analysis support both of these hypotheses. First, the both effect for content words is significant, while the block effect for function words is important at the uh, 0.5 level. It's showing the significant. Yeah. When differences across content word words alone are examined, no significant effects was found. When intensity, fundamental frequency, and duration were controlled, content words and functors were still imitated in the same proportion as in the control treatment. Although the ratio of content to function words did not change throughout treatments, as the Brown and Fraser hypothesis predicted, when suprasegmental words changed, less content and function words were imitated. Children's imitation of content words seems to be sensitive to grammaticality of stimulus sentence and to the inclusion of nonsense words in the stimulus. Children's imitated substantially less contained words in the sentence with words randomly ordered, even though the content words were stressed. Then, in the sentence with synthetically well-formed sentence. The theory is that since hierarchical structures of treatment in treatment 5 sentence was not entirely eliminated, children were able to imitate the contentives of treatment 5 rather than treatment 4. In conclusion, these findings seems to suggest that suprasegmental variables contributing to linguistic stress perceptions are not significant determinants of nature of telegraphic speech, even if they have been sorry, excuse me. Uh, Even if they have been important earlier in the development of language, in the absence of stress signal or cues, the Brown and Fraser hypothesis predicts that the child will be unable to differentiate between content and function expression, and will imitate less contentives and more functors in comparison to his usual speech. In reality, the data shows the opposite patterns. Function words are imitated even less often when suprasegmental cues are removed. A model with correct grammatical orders, especially of contents words, appears to be necessary or as a necessary condition for the imitative development of telegraphic speech for children, for the child beginning to create 2 or 3 word sentences. That is all from me, sir. I'm so sorry for all the weaknesses that I made during this video. And I forgot to mention why am I using this mask, because in front of me there is a fan and I don't want the sounds to be interrupted by the wind blown by the fan. So that is all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.